Okay, today we'll start with module 5. Okay, that is nothing but we are going to discuss about optical networks. Basically, when you want to transfer the information, we have to build up the networks, just like your LAN network or any other network. Even in optical fibers, also we have to build the networks. So, in this module, you are going to study about the network topologies, various network topologies that are available, right? Of course, optical network is nothing but a telecommunication network with optical fiber as the primary transmission medium. We have come across networks, communication networks before also, but in those cases, the transmission medium that was used was coaxial cable, not the optical fiber. Obviously, when we talk about optical networks, here the primary transmission medium will be optical fiber. Right. Now, optical fiber has become the preferred medium for the provision of major infrastructure for voice, video, and data transmission. Why we are going for optical fibers is it offers great bandwidth. That is the main thing. One more thing is, as you know, it is less bulky than copper coaxial cables. Of course, here as of now, like we are stressing more on what is that transferring voice, video, and data in majority, right? Nowadays we are not restricting ourselves for only voice. Majority of the network is utilized by data transmission, and hence the bandwidth required will be more. And of course, telecommunication industry has undergone unprecedented technological change due to the rapid growth of internet and world wide web. This is the main thing. Because of internet we have seen many advancements in the optical communication. Of course, in future also we have to look for higher capacity networks, right? Which will offer greater bandwidth. And the optical networks offer, they are cost effective, they are highly reliable, high service level, right? High service level means the service can be provided very easily. Like if at all the system needs any maintenance, it can be done very easily. Now we look at the diagram that shows evolution of optical networks. This diagram shows the evolution of optical networks. You can observe here in the early 1980s and 1990s, we were having SDH or SONET. This diagram is showing you the switching methodology that you have studied in the what is that digital switching systems. Hope you remember SDH, right? This is nothing but a switching terminology. Right, in the earlier 1980s and 1990, we used to have SDH or SONET. Present day, we are having what is that? Of course, we are looking at present day means again this textbook is old. We don't know in which year he has considered present day. We were having wavelength routing. You will see what is this wavelength routing. Here the switching happens because considering the wavelength of the light that is traveling through the optical cable. Third generation, we talk about optical switching. Optical switching means the switching will also happen in a optical way, right? We will be having optical switches. That there will be no need for converting what is that, light into electrical signal while providing the switching, right? Switching happens from optical to optical medium only. That is nothing but the third generation, right? Ultimately, we'll be having optical packet switch, optical circuit switch, optical hybrid switch. So these are the this diagram shows you the evolution, optical network evolution. This is obvious. A network utilizing optical fiber as a transmission medium provides the connection between many users to enable them to communicate with each other by transporting information from a source to destination. It may also require an intermediate stage to process the data for control operation. Here, that intermediate stage might be converting wavelength of the light to one more wavelength while it is performing switching, or maybe any other processing operation, right? Here the processing will be done by the intermediate stage. Usually the intermediate stage reside near the routers. Thus each stage of information transfer is required to follow the fundamentals of optical networking. These fundamentals essentially involve methodology for interconnection of various optical devices under the optical devices together with the proper procedures for successful transportation of optical signals between source and destination nodes. So this is one network, optical network, that is shown here. Here they are making use of wavelength switching. You may ask what do you mean by wavelength switching? Like here the routing happens depending upon the wavelength. For example, here if assume that light that is entering this switch, the first switch is having lambda 1, right? Having the wavelength lambda 1. That means what? This particular switch will route the light that is having the wavelength lambda 1 through one channel. It may be this channel or this channel, right? Whatever may be the data, if it is if it is being carried using a wavelength lambda 1, it will be routed through a particular channel, right? One channel will be fixed. It will be fixed for one wavelength lambda. If it is lambda 1, it has to be transferred to one channel. Similarly, if the incoming traffic is having the wavelength lambda 2, it will be transferred to one more channel, right? So this is one type of optical networks that makes use of wavelength switching, right? Of course, the circular things that you see here, they are nothing but optical nodes. Optical nodes, again, they have many functions. If needed, it is used for changing the wavelength also. For example, here the incoming wavelength of the light is lambda 1. If needed, this optical node will transfer this lambda 1 to lambda 2 and route into appropriate channel, right? Of course, the links between the optical nodes will be optical fiber, and these links are also called as light paths. Now, ultimately, if you observe here, lambda 1 is routed like this, like it is coming out here, lambda 1. Similarly, lambda 2 has followed a different path. See here, it has come out here. Now these paths will be fixed. How they will be fixed? It is fixed based on the wavelength. Right? Figure shows the structure of simple optical network. It consists of optical nodes interconnected with optical fibers. Talking about optical node is a multifunctional element which basically acts as a transceiver unit capable of receiving the signal. It not only receives the signal, it also transmits it, and if required, it will also process the optical signal. Here, optic processing is nothing but it may convert the wavelength. Like for example, if the incoming signal is having a wavelength lambda 1, if required, it will convert it into lambda 2 and route into appropriate channel or the link. Now talking about optical fibers, they provide point-to-point physical connections. The point-to-point fiber links can be used to establish logical links where the destination node can be reached by traveling through one or more intermediate nodes in single or multiple hops. This thing, like routing always happens in a multi-stage, right? The signal will always travel from one node to the another node, and ultimately it will reach the destination. Ideally, for an uninterrupted optical signal to reach the destination node using multi-hops, each channel is assigned a specific signal wavelength from source to destination. Now, this is what I was talking about. Each channel in the diagram, going back to the diagram, each channel that you see will be able to carry only one wavelength. For example, here if you observe, we have lambda 2. Lambda 2 is traveling in a different path altogether, right? Similarly, lambda 1 is traveling through different path altogether. Or in other words, like the links that we have, the light paths that we have will be capable of using only one wavelength. Like they will be having specific signal wavelength from source to destination. See, a signal carried on a dedicated wavelength from source to destination node is called as the light path. That is, lambda 1 and lambda 2 are two light paths in the given example. The data can be sent over these light paths once the connections are set up. In addition, a control mechanism is also required to provide the data flow during its transmission in order to authenticate the entire data transportation between each transmitting and receiving node. Now, based upon this simple that the network that you saw, it is simple optical network. Here the fundamentals can be divided into three broad areas, namely optical networking terminology and the functions and types of optical network nodes and switching elements and wavelength division multiplex optical networks. We'll go through them one by one. First, we'll look at optical networking terminology. Right? Like here, the networks can be either unidirectional or bidirectional. Over the same single optical fiber. They can be either unidirectional or bidirectional over the same single optical fiber. Despite the differences in optical transmission techniques, the fiber networking fundamentals remain the same. Of course, this is obvious. If you want to send or receive the messages across the optical network, a transmission path must be established either to switch or to route the messages to the final destinations. Next, we look at network topology. Of course, you guys are well aware of these network topologies. Like the first one is a bus topology, second one is the ring, third one is the star, fourth one is the mesh. The same topologies will be used for optical networks also. What is the topology? Topology is nothing but the network structure formed due to interconnectivity patterns is known as the topology, which can take a form of a bus, ring, star, or a mesh structure. right? Of course, we saw in the diagram, the circles represent the nodes. In the diagram that we saw, the circles, they represent the nodes. Talking about bus topology, the here what happens, the data generally circulates bidirectionally. Bidirectionally means it is a two-way communication, right? In the bus topology, the data generally circulates bidirectionally, right? Data is input and removed from the optical fiber via four port couplers located at the nodes. Talking about ring configuration, the data usually circulates unidirectionally. It is unidirectional. It is being looped through the nodes. Like going back to the diagram, data will be circulating unidirectionally in the looped way, right? In the nodes. Right, at each coupling point, and hence it is repeatedly regenerated in phase and amplitude. Of course, it has to be regenerated because as it travels through the loop, of course, it will undergo attenuation. Right, it has to be regenerated at every node to compensate for the losses. Now, talking about star coupler, here what we have a central hub. If you go back to the diagram again, we have a central hub, right? Now data will be, it may be either passive or a active one. We'll see what do you mean by active, what do you mean by passive. The central hub in the star network, it may be an active device or a passive. See, the central hub to the network, which may be either active or passive, right? In passive operation, the star coupler at the hub splits the data in terms of power so that the signal is transmitted to all the nodes. Means what it divides, the central hub will divide the power. Whatever power is received at the central hub, the optical power will be divided equally to all the other nodes. If it is passive, if the central hub is passive, it only does one thing, that is dividing the power. If the central hub is active in the star coupler, if the central hub is active, what it will do? The data is split in an optoelectronic star coupler which carries out both optical to electrical conversion as well as electrical to optical conversion, and this process does not contribute to the overall network losses. Means what? Like if the central hub is active, it not only splits the power, optical power, it also does one more thing, it does the conversions. It converts optical power to electrical and electrical to optical, and therefore you need not worry about what is that, you need not worry about the network losses. Now the ring and star topologies are combined to form one more configuration known as mesh configuration. Right? In mesh configuration, you know that every node is connected to every other node. Every node is connected to every other node in mesh configuration. It is referred to as full mesh when each network node is connected to all the nodes in the network. Therefore, full mesh configuration provides more interconnectivity than the other three topologies. And finally, optical networks can be implemented using either a single or a combination of topologies. Your optical networks, the overall network, it may consist one or two topologies that we saw, right? It may either contain a bus topology or a star topology or a mesh or combination of all. Right? In a full mesh topology, however, although complexity is often preferred, the full mesh topology will be preferred all the time, because what is the advantage here? Advantage is, this is the full mesh topology. Here advantage is that every node is connected to every other node. That means there is a path for every node to every other node. That is why full mesh topology will be preferred for optical networks. Of course, it is complex. The full mesh topology will be complex. Then also it is preferred, right, due to its high flexibility and interconnectivity features.